Welcome to another episode of Sri Lankan Cricket Podcast. My name's Ida and I'm with my co-host Sohan. How are you going, Bora?
Good, Vida. Excited to be recording another episode here in Victoria. We kicked off club cricket or community cricket, played a game on Saturday, and now here recording an episode for the podcast. So pretty excited. How about you?
Yeah, me too. I played a game yesterday and it's pretty hard. I found it really hard to get up from the bed. Maybe the age getting into me now. But did you get a win or?
Yeah, our boys got up. It was a good win playing at home. Won the first game, sets us up well for the season. So I'm looking forward to it. And correct. So body, first game's always tough on the body, but then I think we get through it.
We had a close game. We lost by 20 runs, but early season, a lot to play for. So hopefully we'll win a few games and make the finals. Yeah, we got a lot to talk about. I mean, we've been doing 2 podcasts a week during the World Cup, and I feel like we haven't done an episode for a long time. So a lot happened since the World Cup final. Australia won the T20 World Cup, and Mickey Arthur's tenure at Sri Lanka ends after the West Indies series. We had a LPL draft, and there's a few controversies in there as well. We had Mahela Jayawardene inducted into ICC Hall of Fame, and Ashes is just around the corner. Few controversies in the Ashes news as well, so we got a lot to talk about. I think we'll start with T20 World Cup. Hurrah!
Yeah, I mean, a lot of analyzing being done in the T20 World Cup. End of the day, a team that wasn't, no one gave much.
I did.
Wasn't a lot talked about Australia. We had a chat as well. We said they were the team that hasn't been doing a lot as a team together. The squad was dispersed. They got into Ashes. Ashes was the focal point, and then end up going there training, trying to get a squad playing together. When it mattered the most, they got the results they needed and deserving winners. End of the day against New Zealand, Big Brother effect took over, but is what I could think of. Especially when it comes to the bowling, New Zealand's bowling was bullied. Is the term I could use for where they like Tim Southee wasn't the Tim Southee we've seen. It's that effect Warner has over Southee, and the rest of the bowlers were pretty much part-timers to that effect. It was such a dominant display.
Yeah.
And deserving winners. Good result for Australia.
Yeah, sorry. What?
Now I was going to say, Vida, you called it right towards the middle when you swapped teams and it said Australia, you never know. Looks like they've changed it. They might pull out winners. So good call on that one.
Yeah, they had the form behind them. But there was another factor winning the World Cup, Bora. I mean, 12 out of 13 games were won by side batting second at Dubai. And so basically it was a toss that decided most games. And Captain Finch won how many? 6 out of 7 tosses. So the luck was definitely, it was with Australia.
Yeah, spot on. I think Finch didn't do a lot with the bat, but he won the all-important tosses, and the team tends to follow that. When he sets up the team well with his leadership, toss was a main factor. He would probably walk in saying, "Job's half done. As a captain, I won the toss. Rest is up, set up for you guys." Kind of that's the banter he'll be putting into that decision.
They got better, as they went along in the tournament, and you can see as a unit they were playing really good cricket. So David Warner, player of the tournament, but in my book, Adam Sampa was the player of the tournament because he had a terrific tournament. He was bowling really well, and I feel like he's been robbed. But you're right, like they did everything right, and even in the run chase when they lost wickets, they did not panic. They kept on attacking because they knew that the dew was there, and Sodhi and the spinners couldn't really grip the ball. And Saudi, you said he wasn't the same, because I don't think he bowled his slow balls at all, because it was really hard to grip the ball. So unlucky for
Yeah.
New Zealand. Congrats to Australia.
Good topic to venture into would be with, the international cricket calendar next is, we've just finished a World Cup, and India within 72 hours or 2 to 3 days started playing a series against New Zealand. Um, Shows the amount of cricket that India is playing. For me, I think at the start as well, I wrote India off early with the top four, because I felt they couldn't get the 11 sorted. Number one mistake I think they did was playing Hardik Pandya in that 11. He wasn't bowling, and him as a not playing as a bowler, I think it threw off the balance, and also India should have been quick to make the changes to have him on. Nonetheless, they could do it. But soon as the series ended, Rahul Dravid and Rohit Sharma started their era of Indian cricket, of the leadership group. At the moment, I think the last T20 match is going to be played a couple of hours away from the time of recording. India up 2-0, but it shows the amount of cricket that is being played. Sri Lanka on the back end, we are heading into a test series with West Indies. A big switch. Imagine we both discuss about the coaching, having to have that split coaches across the formats. Mickey Arthur has to quickly reset from a World Cup campaign of T20 cricket to test mode. So how quickly can he change it around? On how much of an effect he is in that playing group, I'm not really sure. But West Indies we're playing West Indies as we speak. It's a test series next. So that's the amount of cricket that is played around the world with us.
Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, we are 150 for one at the moment. I was just checking the score. We talked about Mickey Arthur. His tenure ends with Sri Lanka at the end of the West Indies series. So it's his final series with Sri Lanka. He's heading to Derbyshire. We'll talk about the test series a bit later on. Shall we talk a bit about Mickey Arthur, because he had his troubles with the players, with the administration and all that, but he's going to finish his tenure at Sri Lanka in a high, isn't he, Bora?
Mixed reactions with her. I think that's the honest opinion I can put. I think you and I always have this discussion with him. He'll finish on a high in terms of changing the players' attitude, because he never let loose on the fitness side of things. That's one good thing about him. He kept the bench and he kept it there itself. He didn't, let loose and okay, I might let go of the fitness element and try to bring players back in. So he was constant on that aspect, which was a good sign and a mood shift that we needed. As a coach, result-wise, mixed reactions. There were a lot of lows in between the little highs we had. We are excited with what we've gotten as a result from the World Cup, but in the World Cup as well, we had a massive figure there, which I always think played a part in the person we love talking about in this show, Mahela Jayawardene. I don't know. I've got mixed reactions on his effort. Nonetheless, he had a good stint with this. We've seen I've read in the media a few of the players come out in support and appreciate what he's done for. But I didn't see that during his time in the media. I haven't seen that reactions through his. So I don't know.
Yeah, I know. I knew how you feel about Mickey Arthur. That's why I tried to put you on the spot. But now he's gone. Who do you think will come in? I mean, you mentioned Mahela. He's recently been inducted into ICC Hall of Fame. He's the third Sri Lankan to inducted into ICC Hall of Fame. I mean, ideally, he's the one, like, as Sri Lankans to take over the coaching job, but I'm not sure he will.
I don't think he'll be able to manage, especially with family. Yeah, he's got a young daughter that he needs. Like, we've got young families, so we know the importance of being around family. National coach does take a fair bit of your time away from it, especially now during COVID times, having longer series, having to isolate before test series. That kind of extends the time you're away from home, and the commitment, playing pretty much 365 days of being a national coach is a hard role to do. We've seen when, as soon as it's a shorter series, shorter effect, you have more commitment, and the energy within that coaching group is at a high. That's, I think, the direction we have to move forward. But I think he'll play an effect on the leadership group, grooming them in. So that key figure into who will be the national coach, a few names to toss up there. I think the support structure will have a change as well. Number one, I think Grant Flowers' time as a batting coach will end. The spin bowling and the fast bowling of Vasi and Pial Wijayatunga, I think that will be constant. They'll continue, which they've continued in the past as well. I think they've had stints in the team, so that will be that local coaching group that takes on. Interesting to see who will come into that mix. I'm sure within the committee of led with Tom Moody, Murali, Sangakkara, Mahela, and Arvinder, there'll be a coach that will come into the mix. Some person who would like to see in that mix. We hear in the local coach person coming in, which at the moment a popular name is Roshan Mahanama. But I think that will be more of a director of cricket for the Sri Lankan team, or more of a man manager role. Getting into a more technical coach, I could think of a lot of good names. It's just that, would Sri Lanka be tempting enough to get them in? Is another question that we see. So,
come on, give us a name.
I've not read. Ooh. Good one.
I have two names in my head. You want me to go ahead?
Yeah, I'll let you go ahead. I can't come up the name.
Well, this is what I see on news, and I'm trying to connect the dots here. One name popped up is Navid Nawaz, who's currently coaching in Bangladesh. And I recently saw Graham Ford, he's ending his contract with Ireland. So, he had a good stint with Sri Lanka. So I don't know whether it's coincidence or, I don't know. The time will tell.
Yeah.
Is there any other names you're thinking? Those two are the ones in my head.
For me, I mean, what I would love as a coach or a player or people to come in are top of the list, Trevor Bayliss. If his stint ends with the IPL, having a good connection with Sri Lanka, I don't know if he'll take on. Depends on where he is at, but I'd love to see him involved with Sri Lanka. Another person would be Gary Kirsten, former coach, has had successful stints. So these are high profile names. So if we can manage to get one of them, would be a massive one for us. But because we have a strong leadership group in that 5 names I named, it's not impossible to get one of these coaches now. Because if we are approaching, I'm sure Tom Moody will have an effect on who are the coaches we are going to speak into. So that's why I feel more confident we'll be able to get in a good figure in. We'll wait and see exactly. I read Graham Ford's name there, but then there was a fact that looked like he was a bit of a burnout of being away from family and stuff, so he needed a break. So that kind of threw me off, but still a bit of a sniff there probably,
Yeah.
where they've approached him. But with just a topic with the coaching staff, what do you think will attract a coach to come and take on the gig of leading Sri Lanka cricket, for anyone with a job offers on?
Well, the thing is, like you mentioned, the time because of with this with COVID bubbles and all that, it's really tough for a foreign coach to stay away from their family, because you can't take your family with you as well. So one reason Ricky Ponting said no to Indian job is that, because there's so much cricket being played, and it's really hard with your family life. So for me, I think we are going into an era where you find coaches from your own country. I mean, that's what I'm thinking. Like, that's why I want Mahela or someone from Sri Lanka to take over the job. We don't know what will happen in the next couple of years with COVID. So you ideally need someone, because you play a lot of cricket at home, and at least
Yeah.
you have that time in your country with to spend with your family. So that's
Yeah.
something that's how I see it.
That's good. I think a good way to end this topic would be the structure will change because
Hmm.
of the coaching roles getting ended at the end of this period. So the head coach of Mickey Arthur to even Grant Flower ending the stints.
Hmm.
So that frees up a budget for Sri Lanka cricket to work
Yeah.
around. So do they go with a foreign coach and another foreign batting coach? Or do they go with a local coach and a specialized coach into batting overseas?
Hmm.
Those are some of the toss-ups that they'll be thinking. Like we've seen, or do we have a good man manager role in a local coach? And we open up shorter stints. That is, we've seen in the media of batting consultants or bowling
Yeah.
consultants for short series. Do we open the budget up to sign up international coaches or
Hmm.
specialist batting or more or less batting coaches to fill that gap? That's
Hmm.
something that is probably what you'll be tossing up. Like Jack Callis was part of a batting consultant.
Yeah. Matthew Hayden.
Herat spin consultant for Bangladesh. Matthew Hayden,
Hmm.
Pakistan.
Yeah.
Do we free up our budget to get people like that for specialized roles? So again, it becomes that shorter series. We
Yeah.
sign them up. If you're tour in Australia, can we sign up Matthew Hayden?
Yeah.
Bringing that bit of approach to
Hmm.
the Sri Lankan structure. Then
Yeah.
we have a designated head coach of which is a
Hmm.
local authority.
Yeah.
So since we are getting number one, we are getting our finances freed up to open that up, as
Hmm.
well as have time to think about the structure. Do we go down that line and try to
Hmm.
have one spot open to rotate around
Hmm.
with one main player? So those are the areas that they'll be discussing. I think the batting bowling roles will stay constant.
Hmm.
Those are changes I'll be thinking of.
He will be with us till December. So, I mean, but we will hear new developments, soon. So we're going to keep an eye on that. Shall we move on to LPL draft, Bora?
Yep, that's
It
good.
was it's few raised eyebrows because quite a few key players, including Angelo Mathews, KJP, Dinesh Chandimal, didn't get picked. And since then, SLC have come out and said they're going to include 10 more players into the franchises. So, I mean, I was surprised. I was like, because this tournament is meant to be a tournament where showcase your country's talents and letting young players to come through, and we are not using our own best players in a league. So I was like, what's going on here? What were you thinking?
Yeah, firstly, so with the LPL, it seems to be a stumbling block every month or whenever till we get to play in the first game of the LPL tournament. We know it's a tournament we need for the benefit of Sri Lanka cricket. The players that weren't in the draft, yes, it was shocking. I was trying to justify why they were missed out. I knew there were players who will miss out because of the transition through, but some of the players like Angie and KJP, Praveen Jayawickrama, I think they have to play a part in that mix. And it was good to see with, I think Mahela Jayawardene raised a point on Twitter that
yeah, I saw that, but Mahel is the only one who will come out and say something, Bora. And then SLC respond to that, and they put an announcement saying they're gonna have 10 more players into the franchises.
yeah, much needed reaction. So that was good to see from them. For me, like from the outset, soon as Jaffna was Stallions or Kings, I can't remember what their
Now
names
it was
even.
Stallions.
Yeah.
Now they're Jaffna Kings. They change yeah.
So I feel, yeah, we don't know what the mix is, but Jaffna Stallions looked like a good setup at that time.
Yeah.
So there a lot of ownerships have changed over in the during this period. I think it's still changing as we speak. Players getting rotated around, but hopefully we keep stumbling around, and then come December 5th, or when the tournament's ready to kick off, we get it on track. We need to get it on track in
Hopefully.
accordance with ICC having a good strong hold of it. If not, it will go downhill very fast, and there'll be a lot of things circulating around it, and corruption being number one on that list. So hopefully that's kept at a distance, and we're able to conduct the tournament well, because it is a tournament we need. We've had good players coming out from that tournament.
No, you're spot on. Like, we can't afford not to have this tournament every year, you know. But you're right. You don't want to get into trouble with ICC as well, so they'll have to. I don't know whether maybe it's just a Sri Lankan thing. We wait till the last minute to sort things out. Then we hope for the best, and almost all of the time we get it right. So I hope it's the case this time as well. Yeah, the franchise ownership has changed. One of the local companies have claimed the Colombo team's ownership, and so Angie, this is what I saw in news, and Angie, who wasn't even got picked in the draft, and apparently he's the captain of a new franchise. So we'll keep our eyes on that, and when we hear more, we'll definitely talk about LPL for the next few weeks. So we'll keep you updated about that. Let's move down to goal, Bora. It's been a while I've been to goal. I would love to be there. I've seen the pictures, the drone pictures of the goal stadium. It looks absolutely stunning. The West Indies and Sri Lanka, they're playing their first test match in goal at the moment. A while ago, we were 155 for 1. Dimut Kararatne is batting well. In this game, there's another milestone came up. ICC chief match referee Ranjan Madugale is officiating his 200th test match. So double 100 for Ranjan Madugale. We've been watching lots of T20 cricket for the last few months, and I'm pumped to see a test match playing in Sri Lanka.
Yeah, goal, test matching goal. There can't be any, like very few other venues can match that.
Two matches this time.
Yeah, 2 matches in goal. Purely from for any traveler or visitor going out to watch a goal test match, that's a pretty good event. I mean, you watching the test match itself, it's a test of proper subcontinent cricket. Coastal area. Once you finish the game of cricket, you can have a meal at a restaurant close by, enjoy the Sri Lankan flavors, finish it off with a lion beer. That's it's just lovely atmosphere down there. Two test matches in goal. Generally, the fortress for Sri Lanka, especially we normally start a series there just to have control of the series of any test series that we play. Playing two test matches there could be a logistical thing, but I wouldn't think we'll complain saying no to two test matches in goal, especially as a spinner. Looking at the playing 11 we've announced two left arm spinners, one or two all-round spinners is I think a fair assessment of Ramesh Mendis and Dhananjaya De Silva. We spoke about, we weren't sure who the all spinner was going to play, so I don't see a classified all spinner being playing in the level. Ramesh would be that. Is more from the Ramesh I've seen or heard, like following his cricket, he's always been the all-round spinner. He might have improved on his skills. We'll have an assessment of it at the end of this test series, probably over this match. Interesting, we've gone with two right-arm quicks of Dushmantha and Suranga Lakmal from a bowling point of view. No debutants in this game, so which is interesting. Generally, we tend to dish out few debuts, formats.
We thought Charit Asalanka's gonna make his test debut at his home ground in goal, but not to be. But you're right. Yeah. So
I personally would have liked to see Vishwa playing, on the fact that he's a left-arm fast bowler and would create a bit more of the rough for the left-arm spinners, because we are playing two left-arm spinners. So that would have been a good option and gives Dushmantha a bit of a break as well to recover. And if we needed him, we would have played him for the second test. But I think the management would have monitored his fitness, see how he's going, and made the call that he's ready for this test match. In goal, playing out and out fast bowlers is a good one with the slowness of the pitch. So far, we've again won the critical toss, like Finch did for Australia. Dimut won the toss. He's batting at the moment and he's leading the team from the front, which is a good result. He hasn't played cricket over a period of time. So him getting off the ranks early was a key. I'm sure he's satisfied with his showing case of the innings so far. Angelo Mathews, as we speak, walking out to the middle. We appear to be two down now. So Dimut and Angelo batting through. Looks like Angie is batting at number 4. He normally used to bat at number 5, so that's a good number for him to come in, have more strength, have that stability in the order. If we get up to a score above 350, sets the game up well for us, so that we can control things from there. As it stands, 160 odd for 2. 50 runs more will set the tone for us to control from there. So exciting times. That's the bowling mix with her. What do you reckon about the batting setup that we've gotten?
Well, we had a really good opening partnership with Pathum and Dimut. Dimut on 91 at the moment. Then I think they debated whether to play Oshada Fernando or Asalanka. Then they went with Oshada. Angelo Mathews is playing after 6 months, so I'm glad to see him back in Sri Lanka colours. But he has a major part to play in the years to come, like at least for the next 2-3 years for Sri Lanka cricket in the red ball, especially in the red ball cricket. And Dhananjaya De Silva and Dinesh Chandimal. Then Ramesh Mendis batting at number 7, as you said, he's more of a all-rounder. So I think Dimut's been batting really well for the last year. He's got a double 100 against Bangladesh as well. He's having a good form, top of the order. So runs is the key. First innings runs is the key at goal, and the weather plays a big part as well, especially this time of the year. You get those evening showers, so that's something we'll have to look at as well. So now this is something I want to watch for the next couple of weeks. I miss watching red ball cricket, so I'm going to enjoy watching Test cricket, especially when they're playing at goal. We have a big chance of winning. I'll be glued to the TV.
Yeah, that's looking exciting times for us with the Test series. We'll keep a close eye. We'll have a lot of discussions about this Test series. I just have a feeling there'll be a lot of topics that we'd like to discuss, especially the different passages of play. So we'll keep a close eye out and discuss about that. Venturing out into more Test cricket in Australia, we've got the Ashes kicking off. There's a bit of a continuing with Test cricket. Moving into Australia, we've got Ashes cricket kicking off. That's going to be an exciting time here in Australia to follow that. Australia, a bit of a setback with captaincy. Tim Payne announced that he's down from captaincy. A small scandal brewing there. So we don't know the extent of it, but he's officially stepped down. The next question is, like, Sri Lanka is looking for a coach. Australia is looking for their next Test captain. So few leading guys in the mix are Pat Cummins, Manas. Those are the two front runners at the moment. Outside candidates, Usman Kawaja.
Let's go for it.
Travis Head as well. That's an outside mix. As a choice. So I think they'll want to appoint the captain really quick, because that's just settles the camp. Like we know, coming from the back of Finch, even though he didn't score much runs, he had a settling effect by winning the toss. Everyone keeping things calm in that camp. So front runner is Pat Cummins, but I think a lot of topic being discussed is being a fast bowler. Can he handle the workload of, number one, his responsibility has been the strike bowler of the team, to captain in the side. Whether you've been a fast bowler, I'd like to know your thoughts, and especially thinking about yourself as something. How do you feel that role playing a part in international cricket?
Funny you say that, Bora. I am captain in my local cricket club this season, so it's not an easy job because you're on it all the time. And as a fast bowler, you put a lot of effort to take wickets, and Pat Cummins is the workhorse of Australia Test team. So I don't know how that's going to affect his captaincy, and there's a high risk of him getting injured in the middle of the series, because it's a 5-test series. And so I think those factors might come in when they decide who they're going to go as the captain. Ideally, you need a batsman to captain, isn't it, Bora? I mean, looking at the team, Labuschagne, I don't know, maybe he's too young to be the captain of Australia team in Ashes series. And do you want to go with someone like Kawaja, who is the captain of Queensland Bulls, and they're starting their first game at Gabba? I don't know. But Pat Cummins, I think they'll go with Pat Cummins, but there will be other question marks in their head. They'll consider those things as well, of him getting injured, and will he be able to play all 5 games? What do you think?
Yeah, number one is the fact that the 5-test match series, will he play all 5? In the past, we've seen the fast bowlers being rotated. So they might play 3 test matches, and then out of that, because they normally have a strong 4-member fast bowling group, and one would sit out to give themselves a break and rotate around. James Pattinson in the past was that 4th fast bowler. I think Jai Richardson comes into the mix in this Ashes group. So that's something that will be a main factor for the captaincy option. Pat Cummins, will he play all 5 matches back with the series we are in play, and also in the future? We can't name Australia I wouldn't think they'll try to name a short, like a series captain, and then rotate around it. So that will be a main factor. The use was spot on with Manas, youngish captain. We don't know his captaincy credentials yet. Person who has that respect and has led teams well. Usman Kawaja from a Queensland point of view to franchise cricket where he's led teams and he's been a leadership. He's been in that leadership group within the Australian camp as well. So he has a strong following there. I personally would like Usman to be the captain. I think he leads well. We've seen Ricky Ponting saying that he should be
Yeah.
in the mix with Australian cricket or in the top six. He would be a pick there. He is a strong batsman in Australia, or his record has been pretty
Mm.
strong. I think he averages 60 plus in Test cricket in Australia. But yeah, a lot of things been tossed up. Would love to be a fly in the wall when the guys make that call, just to know what things that are being discussed. But at the moment, media direction is Pat Cummins. But behind the scenes, they're probably thinking, okay, what's the hierarchy is thinking, what would benefit the group there. So let's keep an eye out on that side.
Mm.
England has a lot on their plate as well with their batting group. But I think Ben Stokes coming into the mix has, just boosted that batting order or given more support for Joe Root. Otherwise, his shoulders were getting, he needed to
Yeah.
be a little bit more bench pressers on to carry that English batting order. So Ben Stokes in the mix does help that out. Interesting. It's a good series to follow. Eyes on the Boxing Day Test match as usual. It'll be a sellout crowd here.
Yeah.
And venture out to the Sydney Test. Those are generally where, a lot of that's around the festive time as well. So,
Mm.
Ashes cricket is the ultimate here
Yeah.
within the two countries with the tradition. So, yeah.
You know what? I recently started liking the Adelaide Test because it's a day and night game. Adelaide sunsets are the most beautiful. That the twilight hour, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
We talked about Kawaja. I had the first-hand experience when he first break into the Australian cricket setup. When I toured with the Sri Lanka A team to Australia, we played a A team series up in Queensland.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think he was about 18 or 19 back then, batted at number 3, and he was cutting and pulling our fastest bowlers. Like, he had no trouble with our fast bowlers. Couple of them were pretty sharp. Like Nuan Pradeep he was touching 150s those days before he got injured.
Yeah.
He was just breaking into the side. So he was someone like Pat Cummins of Sri Lanka, where he had raw pace when he broke into the national setup, and he didn't have any trouble facing him, and he was cutting and pulling, and I kept an eye on his performance over the years because I played against him. So this is his comeback tour as well. So do you want do you want him to give that burden? But I'm sure he's capable enough to take that, and because he's an experienced cricketer, as you said, his record in Australia is averaging about 60 in Australia. So I'm sure he's up for the job. You talked about England. Things are heating up again in the Yorkshire County Club racism scandal. More news has broken out, and I think the best way for us to talk about this is we might do another episode with our friend Mark Machado of the Muralian podcast, and we can discuss about the Ashes and the latest with the Yorkshire Cricket Club. Bora, what do you think?
Yeah, perfect with that. Mark's the best man to get the what's happening in Yorkshire. It was a good episode we did with him. We are seeing the roll-on effects now of what's happening out there. It's a topic, I guess, needs a lot of educating amongst everyone. We can always improve one notch better on the topic of racism, just to understand what it means. So self-educate, like educating ourselves is a massive one. I think it's across the board, everyone. So
Mm.
um, Mark's the best person to get on to have a chat as well. And with the Ashes, would love to know, I mean, his insights on to the English camp. So
Yeah.
let's try to tee him up for another round. I'm sure he's excited to discuss about that as well.
Yeah.
Um, just want to touch base when you said for Kawaja being the comeback series for him. Similar to Tim Payne, he was flown out to South Africa on the back of what
Yeah.
happened out there.
Mm.
So he took that responsibility on. He did a good job as well. The next person coming in will have that support around, network around him as well to take Australia forward. Again, I know Australia won the World Cup, but for JL, I think this series, Ashes series, will be a big
Yeah.
factor to determine his stint or his uh, set up a commitment with Australia cricket from a head coach capacity. I mean, Ricky Ponting's discussed about his willingness to give the coaching stream to go if it's the shorter format. So it's into the T20 setup if there is openings there. But again, Ashes determines where things are heading at in Australia. Can't wait for that series to kick off. I mean, I'd love to be following from the warm-ups onwards as well. Yeah, a lot of cricket happening with that. That's a good thing with international cricket or cricket these days with franchise cricket as well. Just a quick, brief stint. Few of the Sri Lankan boys are in Dubai playing the T10 league, another form of cricket that is seeming to be picking up. So don't know how far of T10 cricket will progress, but few Sri Lankans involved there. I'm sure the Sri Lankan selectors are keeping eyes out for players who are performing out there to come up. I think Mahesh Theekshana was one guy who benefited from T10 cricket and then the roll-on effect of cricket that followed. So we'll try to see once more the games kicked off and we see more performance, see where the boys are at. We'll try to get more insight and try to work out a few more strategies of T10 cricket. It's a really interesting format. 10 overs of cricket being played.
Lots of sixes.
Massive sixes.
Massive sixes. Our good friend Angie Pereira has smashed 60 of 29 balls last night. I was just checking the highlights. Yeah, he's one of the players who's playing in that tournament. Utaranga, he's playing as well. Isurudana. Dasun Chanaka. Yeah, it's another opportunity for players to show what they're capable. I saw Chris Gale back hitting massive sixes. Livingston, it felt like watching the Sri Lankan six-side tournament. Everything's going for sixes.
I think T10 cricket's going to benefit even into T20 cricket where players have to get off with the sixes, so they'll probably figure that they'll look in is how many sixes they're able to hit off 10, 15 balls. So T10's the format to learn that, who's got that ability. We've had good discussions with Upul and Angie when we were doing our Twitter stints on social media. I mean, we've shared the dressing room with them. We know how strong candidates and performers they are in their respective departments. So wish them well, and the rest of the Sri Lankans out there, just make selection headaches for the guys who have to select players by putting in the numbers, get the runs behind and the wickets, because that's the currency that you have to deal in cricket. That's a lot of cricket and a lot of areas we've discussed so far in this episode, Vida.
Okay, now we've come to the end of this episode. We love to hear from you. We like to hear your comments and your feedback. Please send them to srilankancricketpodcast@gmail.com. You can follow us in our socials. We love to see your comments, and we'll add them in the upcoming episodes. And we're going to keep a close eye in the test matches and the T10 league as well, and the Ashes coming up. We'll do another episode next week. We'll catch up with you next time.
Thanks a lot, everyone, for listening. Test cricket's kicking off in this side of the calendar. So excited to be recording more podcasts discussing those topics. Thanks a lot.
All right. See you soon.
See you guys.